The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it. Many years ago, in ages past, there existed a coven of sorcerers who wielded great power. They harnessed their magic to forge incredible works of art, creating worlds where none existed, bringing magic where it had not been before. These wizards went by the name Insomniac, and in the year 1998, in the common era of the Age of Men, this gathering of minds crafted their first great work, terrifying in its beauty, captivating in its elegance. It has many names to many people, but in the tongue of the West, it is called Spyro the Dragon. You see, that was silly. Alright, let me back up here. So Spyro the Dragon was a 3D platformer game from the PS1 days where you play as a cute, spunky little dragon named, well, Spyro the Dragon. I'm a big fan, in case you were wondering. The story was always pretty light in those games, big bad doing big bad things, and you need to stop it by freeing the dragons, or collecting the talismans, or getting the dragon eggs, or whatever. Basically, you need to explore the levels, all of them being super unique by the way, and collect as many things as your level of OCD demands of you. The Spyro games were fun, simple collectathon platformers, nothing more, nothing less. Which is why it's kinda weird that when it came time to reboot the series, what they did was... This is the Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning. AKA, I just binge watched Lord of the Rings. Also, what's a Spyro? This game is such a huge departure from anything that had to do with those games save for the characters on the box art. What happened to his eyebrows? He looks like Viggo Mortensen. Though I guess it's still better than this abomination. Or this one. Now it makes sense why they rebooted. The Spyro series wasn't doing too great after Insomniac left the franchise. The Game Boy ones were okay, Enter the Dragonfly was a disaster, A Hero's Tale was meh. So it seemed like as good a time as any to put some new juice in that old engine. But not like this. Not like this. So why is this game a confusing mess? Well, take a seat and let me spin you a tale. A hero's tale! Also, don't worry, I'm done with the maps. So the game starts off with the Dragon Ignitus played by Gary Oldman laying down some exposition.
I, like all the others, awaited the birth of the dragon of whom the prophecies foretold. But the Dark Master heard the prophecies as well. I should have hidden the eggs long before, but I thought we were ready. I thought they were safe. Oh, how I was wrong.
Ignitus then flees the temple with a dragon egg and flies it down to the Mushroom Kingdom to keep it safe in the hopes that the chosen dragon, as foretold by the prophecy, would one day grow up and drive the evil from the land. So this is the first problem with this game. It's Spyro. Spyro. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Spyro. But it's a story about a silly little cartoon dragon. I mean, yeah, he got a smidge more serious in the sequels, but it was an attitude more than tone.
I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Nasty Nork and his weird minions.
What's a minion? Is this rain ever gonna stop? I've forgotten what the sun looks like. We should go on vacation.
Also, yes, that's Tom Kenny. But taking that simple little fairy tale concept here and using it to tell a serious story is like, ugh. I mean, you're gonna have to tell a damn good story for me to buy into it. It's not Lord of the Rings. So as if from a biblical tale, Spyro's egg floats down the Golden River. Ew. Until he is discovered by a family of dragonflies who take in the young dragon and raise him as their own. They also have a less important son named Sparks.
I see you, my little glowing friend. Seeing and catching are two different things, a big boy.
Wait, is that David Spade?
What's the matter, little Spyro? You can't fly? Oh, that's right, you walk everywhere. That's too bad.
It is! Why, of all the people on planet Earth, would you pick David Spade to play Sparks? I get that they wanted some comic relief for their serious fantasy epic, but wisecracking David Spade was not the answer. It's awkward. It's like when they open award shows with the hosts inside different movies or whatever. But if that was the whole movie? It's like if they got Kevin James to play Samwise Gamgee. Now we get some actual gameplay. Right off the bat, everything feels wrong. Your glides plummet you to the ground like you ate too much lead, and your charge is impossible to control, so it's practically useless. But what's most notable here is that, unlike the other games, you get a punch button. And get used to it. Really, get used to it. You know how the joy of Spyro's always been exploring unique worlds and collecting things? Well, the joy of this game is playing linear levels, where you get to fight guys. And fight guys. And fight guys. Also, gems aren't for collecting anymore. They replenish your health and shit. So Spyro and Sparks play around until they get ambushed by a bunch of evil baboons.
Let me out of here and fight me like a thing, whatever you are. You pathetic wretch.
I'd say it's like he's not even trying, but they hired David Spade.
No, I'm like a bird. Actually, more like a hard-ass pterodactyl.
So then Spyro discovers he can breathe fire and uses it to save his friend. They tell Mom and Dad all about it.
So, you mean I'm not your real son?
And then you set off on your adventure to discover Spyro's true identity. But not before a heartbreaking goodbye.
I'm not leaving you behind. I'm just leaving you where you belong.
Well, I thought I belonged with you, because I'm always with you. But I guess I was wrong, huh? I'm sure I'm wrong on a lot of things. You know what? You're right, I'm wrong. Best friends belong together, even if one of them is purple and does have some weight issues.
Never mind. And right away we're back to, you guessed it, more fighting. I do like how they all have individual names though. I don't know why it's important to know that a baboon is named Zenny Cursestrike, but I'm glad I do. So then Spyro meets Gary Oldman Dragon in a cave and finally learns the truth.
You're a dragon. When you were just an egg, it was my job to protect you. It was my job to protect all of you. There were 4 of us. Guardians, that is, and we had...
Oh my god, you're taking too long. So the short version is that for ages, the dragons have been at war with the army of the Dark Master, who is intent on destroying their entire race. But a prophecy foretold of a savior emerging once every 10 generations, so Ignitus and his dragon friends were tasked with protecting the eggs. But the evil black dragon Cinder, allied with the Dark Army, decimated the dragon's forces and came for the eggs herself. Ignitus saved one egg, of course, and it came to be that that egg housed the Chosen One, who will turn the tide in their darkest hour. Man, what a hefty script for the upcoming young adult fantasy film Aragon, based off of the novel of the same name. Also, I'm glad I printed out this high-quality cover page with the title Spyro the Dragon on it. It would surely be a shame if these got mixed up somehow. Whoa! God! And you want to know why Spyro's the Chosen One? 'Cause he's purple. Literally. You want to know why Spyro was purple in the original game? 'Cause the grass was goddamn green!
He's talking about flying dragons and war and horrible... This is bad stuff, alright? I don't know if we're hearing the same thing.
Is he drunk? So Ignitus takes Spyro to the old dragon dojo and teaches him all about using his flame breath. Through a long and boring tutorial sequence. Fun. And then the game just continues like this, with Spyro going to different worlds to rescue the old dragons, learn new breath powers, each with the same goddamn tutorials, and find a way to defeat Cinder once and for all. The levels are all super linear, with you slowly progressing through corridors until you get to rooms where you have to fight a group of the same freaking enemies over and over again. Why baboons? Why? Occasionally there's other things, and these guys change skins from level to level, but you're still fighting the same exact enemies in every single world. This has to just be lazy design, right? There's no way somebody was like, in my dream Spyro game, you're just gonna fight baboons. Actually, I shouldn't say all the levels are the same, because there is one that stands out. After 2 whole levels of linear beat-em-up action, no deviation from the formula whatsoever, suddenly there's this 3rd level, Tall Plains, that presents a much greater emphasis on platforming, exploration, and puzzle solving. Albeit basic. And all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa! This is actually much closer to what I wanted! The platforming isn't great and the puzzles are crappy, but the game isn't nearly as claustrophobic now, and I get a break from the constant button mashing. However, this change hit me like a freight train. I wasn't used to this at all, so I was stuck thinking the level was glitched because I didn't think the game would ever need you to explore. Everybody join me in the hyperbole, if you will. It's like if you were playing a game of Chutes and Ladders, right? And after you win, your opponent was like, okay, here's level 2. This level and the next one, Munitions Forge, kind of remind me more of Spyro 2 and 3, with the point of each level being to help the local inhabitants. But that's the extent of my praise, because everything after Tall Plains goes back to being the same old boring combat. It's so boring! Literally, I'm just mashing circle over and over. The breath powers change things up a little, but really only when you level them up. Collecting certain gems will let you increase the power of your fire, electricity, ice, and earth breath. Kinda sounds like he's just eating dirt. But seriously though, Earth Breath is crazy OP. It's a shotgun blast of rocks. No point doing anything else really. Also, dying is inconsequential because when you die you just respawn in the exact same spot with all your health back. I mean, I could rant about this again, but you can just check out my Space Raiders review to hear my views on the sense of purpose in games. Not even the boss battles can bring any excitement to the game because they're all so freaking easy. The only one I really like is this one because you fight a literal train. Not since Final Fantasy VI has there been a boss this exciting. But the fight itself is a joke because it's just the generic big boss runs into walls boss fight, but now you can visually see the tracks. You know, I've seen reviews for this game that say that the story is what makes it worth it, but how? How? It's so generic! You can go to the disgusting cesspit that is your local bookstore's fantasy section and find that half of them have the same exact story as this game. And even if you can get past that, how can you enjoy the story when the actors are directed so poorly?
That was a good idea. Glad I thought of it.
You? Glad you? No.
What the hell was that? Wood sounds like he's all heartfelt and moody Frodo Baggins, and Spade sounds like he's got places to be that afternoon.
You know, I don't need this. I could have stayed with the llama people, whatever, where I was appreciated, but no.
Oh my god, Sparks makes me want to punch him in the thorax. He just won't stop talking.
Certain dragons have the ability to see visions.
Oh, really? Is that so? Okay, what am I thinking now? What am I thinking now? Okay, now.
Sparks existed for a very simple reason in the old games. Instead of using a health bar on the screen, the game made Sparks change color to indicate how many hits you had before you died. He'd also make it easier to collect gems. In this game, he literally does nothing! He doesn't help you fight, he doesn't tell you anything useful, he's just there to be LOL funny guy cause sidekicks were the hot thing in the PS2 days. Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Spyro and Spade. He's so pointless. But the voice acting disparities aren't just limited to Sparks. Oh no.
It's me, Spyro.
I'm Molière, leader of the Manwar Smalls.
Not only do I think they were not recorded in the same place at the same time, I don't think they were recorded on the same planet. I'm convinced the acting director was a fucking fax machine that just printed out the script for the people to read.
I'm going to stop Cinder and the Dark Master.
Then, it's off to karaoke.
It's all so lazily done. And not just the voice acting.
But the women. And the children, too.
The game is so janky! There's a level that requires you to push statues onto pedestals, but Spyro slips off them so easily that you just have to awkwardly push it over and over again. There's another part where you have to put a snowball in a catapult, and I guess they realized that the pushing was awkward in the previous level, so in this one they just made it magnetically stick to you. It's weird and clearly hastily done. And the other game modes, like the 2 short flying stages and the weird minecart ride, are so infrequent that they just feel kinda tacked on. It's a desperate attempt for more variety in a game that, for 90% of it, coasts on monotony. The final stages really encapsulate all this. After you gather all the dragons, Gary Oldman gets kidnapped by Cinder, so Spyro goes to an evil castle to save him. This level possibly has the most stop and fight these guys' rooms and the most confined corridors of any of the levels in this game. You fight baboon after baboon after baboon until you finally reach Cinder with maybe the most underwhelming encounter with a final boss of a game. It's the main bad guy. You'd think she'd do more than just stand in a room and whack her tail at you. But don't worry, cause it ain't over here. After you beat her, you get sent to Zen from Half-Life. This final level is entirely jumping from platform to platform, in a game that has proven itself to be an awful platformer. And then when you finally get to the end and face Cinder, the ultimate evil of this game, it's another ridiculously easy boss fight. And then it turns out that Cinder was actually a baby dragon all along, so Spyro saves her from being sucked into a thing, and then everyone's happy. The end.
And he lived happily ever after, to the end of his days.
I wish! This game makes me so mad! It's not even a horribly broken game or anything like that, but The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning is frustratingly boring. It feels twice as long as it is because there's no substance in what you're doing at any point in the game. It's 8 hours of fighting monkeys! Monkeys! I don't get it! Why do people like this game? Am I too blinded by nostalgia that I can't appreciate this game trying new things? This is textbook bad design! Textbook! And the story is horrible. Elijah Wood can't save it. Gary Oldman can't save it. David Spade fucking killed it!
I'm a tough cookie. I got class. I got a little frog in my throat. As I was saying...
Shut the fuck up!
Destroy it!
Okay.